Alright, tell us what
Alright
the
guys, we are
American
here.
Ninja Warrior recap has been.
Yes, they also
Kiwami,
did
too.
they also pulled off a season in a bubble, and it's been running on. We recapped the first 4 episodes. That's half the season. With a podcast there about American Ninja Warrior. It's been interesting.
Okay. Alright. Let's see what else. Oh, and then Taryn is going to have a live feed update. So Taryn, today was day 69, correct?
Correct.
Okay, do you have anything special planned for the day 69 live feed update?
Yes, one of me or the updater is going to be upside down.
Yeah. I'm about to watch the video version of this one. Okay, charge money for that episode of the podcast. All right. LFC Roundtable Stock Watch Edition, Darren, tomorrow night.
Yes, we will be rating the players, having some fun with that. We'll update the prices in the stock watch, and we'll talk about everything that's been going on this week.
Okay. Chappelle or Serena, do you guys play the stock watch?
Yes, I have been, but I feel like I'm always on the wrong day to like sell my stock. And I don't know how much money I have right now.
Okay. Alright. Times are tough out here. Alright, and then Andy Herron is going to be with us on Wednesday night. It'll be myself, Melissa, and Asia with our special guest Andy Herron to join us to talk about Wednesday night, talk about the comics, and much more. Should be a fun recap show coming up on Wednesday night. And then, of course, I'll be back Thursday after the eviction as well. You can find out everything we have going on in our Patreon podcast feed, our Patreon Facebook community, Discord, and more at robisawebsite.com/Patreon. Help support all the podcasting we have going on about Big Brother and Survivor and everything else over on our HAP. And then Thursday night, I'll be back again for our Big Brother Eviction Night pregame show that kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour before the eviction, when either Christmas or Memphis will be sent to the jury house. That's for patrons only on Thursday night. Of course, you can follow us on social media as well. We share lots of clips from the shows, and polls, and all sorts of fun stuff. Rob has a podcast on Twitter at RJPGrams, on Instagram, and our Facebook page is Rob Has a Podcast. And here we are. We are closing in on 3 weeks until big election day. If you are not set up to vote, find out if you still have time. Head on over to vote.gov. Make a voting plan and get registered to vote. Find out where your polling place is and much more at vote.gov. Okay. All right. Come on, don't be a tease like Enzo. Tell us you're gonna vote, and then stay home. Do nothing. Talk to your stalkers on Instagram. All right, Serena. So nice to have you back here with us to talk about everything that's going on.
It was a lot of fun, a little weird, but always happy to be here with you.
Look, we have to make our own fun at this point in the season, focusing on day 70.
Definitely.
Okay, Serena, where can people hear more from you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Serena Foster, or on Instagram at Let's Go Serena.
Okay. All right. Been all around the podcast world. What are all your plugs? Get ready for like a Mike Bloom-esque list.
That's been it. I don't have any plugs, Robert. But I am very excited to listen to Jervis and the conversation you had with Jervis and T-Bird. He is the reason why I started watching Survivor, because I said, look, a black guy. And back then it was hard to find us on television. I've seen Friends. And so I'm very excited for T-Bird's conversation with Jervis. But I don't have anything to plug. I think I'm post-show recaps. I did a thing with Josh and Mike. And let's just say 4 hours in, we're not done, so we're going to do a part 2. And so that's coming up. I think it's a Brent Steele for Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
So there's that. Yeah, but aside from that, no, I think I'm chilling right now. Rob and Taryn, it's great to finally get to talk to you guys again. I know I'm getting passed around the podcast sphere, but, I haven't talked to you guys in a while, so that's fun. And Serena, you're lovely, and it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm just happy to be here.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. We're still going to talk about the feet thing, though. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Enzo's Footstalker, we also talked about the freakiest freak of all time. Didn't make the scroll, but on the latest Robin Akiva Need a podcast, our good friends of the podcast, Bryce Isaiah, joined Akiva and myself to talk about who is the freakiest freak of all time. Enzo's Footstalker did not make the list, but many other people did. Very fun episode of Renap this week with Bryce. Of course, Taryn, what do you have coming up?
Well, of course, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be live to update you on whatever happens today. Tomorrow night, we've got the Stockwatch Roundtable. We've got episode recaps coming. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TarynArmstrong, or on Twitter, @ArmstrongTaryn.
Okay. Also, yes.
How dare you gloss right over the freakiest freak conversation without quoting Lil' Kim? Now, I haven't listened to the podcast yet, but you said you make a Sprite can do what?
Disappear?
Where?
No, I did not say that.
I just want to hear the lyric.
I didn't commit it to memory, but Lil' Kim talks about how that she is able to, she could fit a Sprite can in her mouth in a song, which I was very impressed by, because that she might have like a dislocating jaw, like different types of snakes.
It sounds like it could come in handy.
Yeah. Chappelle,
wait, where are we?
Shadow thing, you didn't give out your Twitter.
Oh, hi.
What?
At Chappelle's_show.
Okay.
That's CHAPPELS_show. I say this every time, but if you're mean to me, I will block you. And it's nothing personal. I just don't really like positive vibes only, you know? And so, yeah, but I will have a conversation with you. People in the chat will tell you. I just talk to people randomly. So, yeah, thank y'all for asking. But, yeah, follow me on there. I would tell you to follow me on Instagram, but I'm not working out anymore. So I don't want happened. And I whispered that, Rob. Gosh. And so I don't want you guys shaming me, so we won't do that. But follow me on Twitter.
Okay. All right. Very fun show here tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And if not, we got another one we'll try again on Wednesday night. Okay? Thanks so much to Scott and Pierre. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
That was
Bye.
weird. So we were just in that area. Okay. Fine. Whatever. That felt weird.
Right. Well, my person is a child.
Actually, you know what? Since we're here, I'm actually really behind on podcasts right now, so let's go listen to RGPBNB. Fuck it.
I mean, I want the giant temptation tree. Like, I want those useless twists that came with
where am I going?
that season.
We'll get more use out of it.
I'm going back to Serena? Okay. Well, just, do I have money? I barely have enough money for this.
I was trying to think, because I was like, what would I steal from the Big Brother, like, rummage sale, right, or whatever? I would want OTEV, but then I was thinking, do you think that they use the same, like, structure of OTEV, and then they just put different coverings on OTEV depending on what the weird thing is? Because at least for a while they looked very similar, right?
Similar,
like,
yeah.
Penguin. I feel like the salamander looked really different.
Well, the salamander
most recent ones
have
been
skinny.
very thin.
But I think, you know, for a while it was like big head, small body, and so I could imagine that they'd go over like the same chicken wire and paper mache to make different animals. But yeah, to Mari's point, I think they've changed the body structure of it. At least the salamander, like, unless you went with like an alien last year, I don't think it was that skinny last
What was that? The alien was like, what was that, 2 or 3 seasons ago? They did have an alien. They had They did. I don't know. I want the rock wall from 20. Like, I would love that. That was so cool to me.
The one that was in the house, you're saying?
Yeah, that was
the
in
one
the house.
the one that Rockstar got stuck on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, so last year was the paranoid pigeon. So I think it was another one of those similar, like, big head, small body animal things.
Yeah, the alien was in 14.
Okay, I knew there was an alien. I just did. It felt sooner.
Well,
than
last
that,
year was the Yankee swap with the aliens. That's probably what you were thinking of, because that was like Jack Van was in the yak-covered alien autopsy, and Big Dick Johnson, you know, yelling at him. So that was infamously Tommy's. I think that was the speed of smell punishment as well. So. We were generally out of this world, but we have promptly been brought down to earth in this season proper.
Yeah, I did see that Anthony Calver did his first Abby percent run of Last Part 2 today. I haven't watched it yet, but I probably will eventually.
Which is what I'm using as the umbrella term.
I do want to watch it.
finally looking at one another. Any thoughts about this past 7 days of action, or lack thereof?
Well, to be honest, I didn't watch any of them live. I let them pile up on my DVR and just fast forward through it because it's what are we even here for? They decided last week on Sunday, on Saturday. It's the same formula. So I was like, all of this other stuff and with the diary rooms, it's just scripted nonsense for the people who don't watch the feeds. And so I wanted to catch some people's DRs. I am on the record for how much I am not a fan of Christmas Abbott, and I really do not like her DRs because, like, she is really angling for Julie Chen's hosting job. Like, you can tell the DR would say, we'll give her lines, and she's just like, yeah, you want me to do it like this? How about like this? Let's do 3 takes. Like, Christmas is so in for these scripted DRs. It's annoying how, like, overproduced she is, and I cannot do it. I can't do it. But the thing I did like, the HOH comp, I love that. I mean, Cody still won it, but I love the getting the clothes off while still touching the buttons.
Especially like the silly outfits that they did too, like the tarantula outfits really got me going.
And the editing effects of putting them in I was like, oh god, who do y'all got back there? But I really liked it, and I wish we had more of these type of competitions earlier. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that this one.
Well, that looks so awkward.
I think it did help if you were taller, but I still think it was pretty even across the board. It looked like
this is a really awkward kid.
I couldn't tell, but it didn't look like the women had to stretch way more than the men or anything like that. It looked pretty equal to me. So I love when they throw in different stuff. I'm glad it wasn't like a ball throwing challenge or anything like that. I wish it was a little bit more mental. I feel like how many mental?
And your Yakuza went to jail for fucking 10 years.
Like only 4, and
it's been accused multiple times of killing people.
I think, if you're talking like standing
this actually, which is even dumber actually, if you really think about it, considering he like beats people to shit in the fucking in these random fights. But
with like the
against Devon,
I don't know why I don't think of those as mental.
And that was because the veto competition was the veto competition was mental, right? The aforementioned Liana's hot dog competition of putting everything in order, make a time lapse, which I was confused about, like, what are they doing? I was just like with Nicole of like, okay, how do I figure out what order this is in? But I guess pictures tell 1,000 words, and you have to take all 6,000 of those words and put them in a cogent story.
And I'm sorry, Leon. I was just saying, I guess I really just need more variety for the comps for me personally.
So the sexy Uncle Vito competition, I think that was one of the ones. How dare we forget about that? That one is close and near and dear to my heart. But Mari, I agree with you. I really like the button competition because I think there's also just something hilarious about the house guests having to take their clothes off. But I do think it did favor men. I mean, it's hard to tell because I don't think they scaled it necessarily. So I do think if you were taller, which we saw, the women were the first 2 out. Again, to go to I'm like trying to go through all the points that Mari made because I'm like want to talk about all of them. I think they're fantastic. To go to the comments about Christmas, okay, now I'm just button pop. Her going for Julie Chen's job. She loves God, and Julie Chen also loves God.
You talk about scripted, it's more like scripture to get Julie Chen's job nowadays.
I love that you love God.
Saying that, I don't want to impugn on anyone's belief, but it's so random to be like, thank you for mentioning that. I really do appreciate that.
Like, here's the thing for me, though, is that it's not funny because it's about God. It could be about anything. It could be like, oh, you love Vito's, I also, too, love Vito competition. Like, you love chili cheese fries, I, too, love chili cheese fries. Like,
I'm glad you answered chili cheese fries. I love chili cheese fries, too.
Yes, like just the fact that Julie is unchained and just sharing all of her unfettered opinions, I think is what just brings me joy.
Between that and also I love her Wikipedia sense of her being like, Tyler, if you recall, you lost 5-4 last week. Like, I just love that reminder for some reason of her. I don't think she's actually digging in the knife, but she's like,
stating that night people's shots by being like, Kevin, you lost by one question. Tyler, you lost by one vote.
But it's do that to Kevin, yeah.
These unnecessary details that make it seem like she's trying to prove that she knows something about.
Yeah, I don't like Mari as a podcast guest. She seems so clueless like half the time that she's on there.
Actual vote count. For me, I felt like it was like, see guys, these people really are all stars. See, they are. Like, we're sure. Like, that's what it turned off to be, exactly. Like, they really lied. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's interesting though, because, to your point, I love that point where it's being like, hey, here's a reminder as to why early on this season, but then it makes it even worse. You're like, one question away from winning. This time, you walked out carrying a blanket after you were nominated 5 times. Almost like a reminder.
That's something else I did today. I did watch the Tournament of Power. I talked about this last week. I really wanted to rewatch the Tournament of Power. So I did actually end up doing that. Like one of the YouTube versions. It's just like condensing it into like 2.5, 3 hours. Instead of the fucking 10 hours it was on actual TV. Yeah, because destroying Tokyo is like a realistic thing. Are they talking about Kamurocho? By the way.
連中は言ってました。26年前、殺された恨みの数だけの爆弾を用意したと。桐生、確か例の事件で死んだ人間は33人。爆弾は全部で33個。一つがミレニアムタワーの爆破。そしてもう一つが昨日倉橋が準備したものだとすると、残りは31個だ。桐生、俺は警察に事情を話して爆処理を発動できるように要請する。爆処理
Why did he even say Kiru right before that? Why didn't he just say, I'm going to do this? Like, why did he say Kiru, I'm going to do this? How that fucking song stuck in my head right now? Theme to... the second theme to Dragon Ball Super. Oh wait, what? Oh, they do it like too early. Yeah, screw it, we'll do it, why not? We do get a lot of blues, so fuck it, we'll get that. Okay, so we need to get a cab. Wait, that's where I'm at. Hello.
Wow, I want Julie Chen to come
and like say, Big Brother, you once aired on Sunday nights, and now you've been bumped in favor of showing 30-year-old films. How does that make you feel?
Like, I get they were saying it was because the football
31個の爆弾だって。
was going over, and it's true. My
でも大丈夫です。爆弾の件に関しては伊達さんが警視庁に掛け合ってます。今俺たちの時は町を合流会から守ることです。そうは言っても主だった幹部は殺されちまって組員が浮き足だってまとまりがつかない状態なんだよ。柏木さん、どれくらい兵隊が集められる？そうだな。小室町周辺の組織に声をかければ300ぐらいはなんとか。柏木さん、その300人俺に預ける。すぐに招集をかける。登場会のために立ち上がってくれるんだね。
2 months of Big Brother and 1 month of not even Big Brother, like NFL players just living in the Big Brother house. Because I'm sure sports fans would want to watch it. Cause, I mean, my solution, this comes from like a lifelong Amazing Race fan when it used to air on Sundays. Like, listen, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but can we cancel 60 Minutes at this point, or just like get rid of it for a week when it's being preempted by football? Because it's not like, I don't know. Maybe I'm following the wrong people. I don't know who's jonesing for a new 60 Minutes on Sunday night, week in and week out.
And the funny thing is, it's 60 minutes, so there's no way they can't, like, hey, we'll just interrupt wherever it's at once, you know, football. It's like, no,
I asked for 60 minutes, I'm getting that, damn it.
That sounds like the title of an Onion article. Like, in new announcement, 60 Minutes cut to 30-minute segment. Or like half-hour time slot, or something like that.
Well, let's start getting into this week at large, and let's start with the person who went here in Tyler Crimson. It has been a weird-ass season for Tyler, to say the least. But pre-season, let's talk about how we thought they would do. I'm getting a hit. Liana, was Tyler your winner pick for Big Brother 22? You want to repeat it? I know memorably, Liana, you and I both picked Tyler to win at Big Brother 20. What made you think that Lightning would, or that what you want to what did not happen that season?
I felt like Tyler was the type of really solid, modern Big Brother player. And I think him and Cody were the two that I was trying to decide between. Like, famously, we talked about Cody, at the beginning of the season in the preview podcast, and I think that both of them have the competition prowess, the social ability, and the strategic smarts to be able to pull off a win in modern Big Brother. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I think I picked the wrong horse here in Tyler. So that, I'm a little frustrated by, but yes, he was my winner pick. I said that he would play under the radar early on while focusing on his social game, letting people braid his hair, just chilling out, etc. But then I said he'll make a big push at the final 8 to get himself to the end. And then I was apparently very lazy and pulled, and I even wrote from my old prediction, BB20. Even though he moves like an animatronic robot from Chuck E. Cheese, his calming presence will win over the house guests. I think I was just so proud of that. And then for his comic book name, I put the Suave Surfer.
But he's not even a surfer.
But I spelled it as Swave. So it's...
Oh, so S-W-A-V.
Swave. Like he's on a wave. He's the Swave Surfer. Parentheses Suave.
Heard him now.
It's gonna be with the parentheses. We're actually we're recording this on the day I'm assuming that Big Brother Comics is coming. We're finally gonna see if our predictions hold here and see if Realtor and Dunee and Swave Surfer will come to fruition.
Get it! Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, let's see if we'll get it. So I had Tyler.
Wait, how much money do we have
I
again?
had him going pretty far. I had him making finale night, and he was going to be our Rob G. Odd.
No, I don't want to do this.
So I said that he would make the least amount out of final 2 deals in the past, which he's said he was going to be honest, and ended up doing the opposite. He is somehow able to play the exact same game again. He makes plans to see every single person after getting out of the house, which he did seem, at least in my interview with him, as limited as it was, he seemed at least a little chummy with everybody, even if it's maybe not the same or the other way around. And he gets taken out right at the finale for fear of making the finals again, and his superhero name was Diamond Dude. Because he owns a jewelry company.
Oh, I was like, did he win like a Diamond Power veto somewhere along the way?
So yeah, we both had high hopes for Tyler, and it ended up happening. I don't think any of us could have predicted his own, for lack of a better term, mental stability in the game. I know that when the premiere happened and the cast was officially announced, I know that Angela had posted something right about like how she had to be the one. He initially said no, she had to call CBS to make it happen, so maybe we should have seen that, the signs were all there. But it really was a matter of like, he was playing a very solid, very good first 5 weeks of the game. And then after that, even though there were some moments where he caught up, I just think it was all down, various steps going down to the eventual 6th place food.
I think, other than just Angela pushing him, it's been a few weeks now, but I've really started to see the effect that Josh and Casey not being in that house really had. Been talking about it on my Twitter whenever I do tweet about Big Brother, which is very rare these days. So like we all kind of Josh, no Casey, everybody was just like, we didn't want them anyways, and even me, I thought the biggest thing of them not being there was at least Bailey should get far now, because I thought that those would be her 2 antagonists. But after watching what she's done in the house with Tyler and the pre-jury portion, I'm kind of convinced she could have probably got them to her side, like she did with Tyler that early going. So I really think without Josh and Casey, Tyler sat in seclusion for 2 weeks thinking about how his game was going to go, and it included them. And it included them running the majority of the game. When he walked into the house, we all saw it. He didn't see them, and he looked like he was over it. He looked very whiny and petulant. He looked like he didn't want to be there at the moment he stepped foot in the door. And even Taryn said it. And him getting approached by Cody was, it was the lucky thing. Like, Cody had to try and drag him into that Big Brother headspace, and he got in that headspace, and then as we saw, he got out of it week 5, and
Week
5 killed his game, because I think even if he got to the final 2, I don't know if anybody could justify wanting to vote for him when he wanted to quit multiple times. So I just really think it kind of really sucks that we didn't get Josh and Casey, because I really think we could have gotten a split house season if they were there. I think we could have gotten Tyler, Josh, and Casey versus Cody, Nicole, and Danny. And I think some of our faves would have, been able to either ride the middle or jump in between. But because we didn't get that other side, we got that large amalgam of the alliance, and it was just all downhill from there. And while I'm on my soapbox, just 2 more seconds. When did Big Brother become about winning competitions?
Rachel Riley is the answer. 2 words.
I really don't like where it's headed. I really miss when it was social and people weren't afraid to make those moves against their alliances. You build that big alliance, you hope your big alliance, which is almost 75% of the house, wins the competition, and then you don't even waver from that. We used to have people who would flip from their alliances all the time, or just play for themselves, and it's just sad that we don't get that, because they're afraid for splitting from their alliance, because they're afraid they won't win competitions if they do. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but it was
this is the place to
I'm trying to get happy, yo.
Our floor is made of soapboxes, so feel free to step onto that. So I want to, Leon, I'll go through your points here. Leon, what do you make? Because I do agree that I think Tyler's eviction especially has, I think, made people look back on sort of the sliding doors of what happens if Josh and Casey were cast in this season.
assumingly they probably would have replaced Memphis and Keisha if it's led to believe that those two were the alternates. So what do you make now, I guess, hindsight being 2020, about the effect that those two could have had in the season, both on Tyler and in general?
Right, so, I mean, we had talked about the impending Danny-Tyler war, which was, I think, one of the maybe permutations. It might have been Tyler-Danny, I think. It could have been Cody-Danny, maybe, but at one point. But anyway, and so I think that what Tyler would have had if Casey and Josh had been there would have been soldiers. And people who are loyal, but also, like, Josh is not afraid to take action, right? Like, you can set Josh on a task and he will bang his pots and pans all the way there, right? And having someone like that, I think, would have been really valuable. I don't necessarily know if our faves would have been able to ping pong back and forth. I do worry it still would have been one big alliance going after those on the outs. Especially if, Kaser felt like, let's say Cody still wins first HOH, and Kaser and Janelle still feel like, oh crap, we have to play. I think they still become ostracized, but I think once we get to the war, I think, one, it happens sooner, and I think that it's much more entertaining.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mike, just 2 seconds. With Josh and Casey in there, there's more pairs, though, too. So Janelle and Kaser don't stick out.
Yeah, and so it's interesting because also tracking, Tyler in those first couple of weeks, I honestly feel like he was excited to go in there and, do certain things. The first one is obviously with his friends, like you said, not having Casey there, I think, was a bit of a hit to himself emotionally. I think the other one was, I think, as probably the biggest fan, besides Ian back in the day in that house, I think he genuinely wanted to play with Janelle and Kaser, because those are BB legends. And I think when they were not too into it, or when he heard that they were coming after him, I think he lost a bit of spirit in that regard, right? Of all right, well, I guess I can't work with them. Even when he got rid of Janelle on his HOH, it was almost begrudgingly of this is not great for my game, but I'm doing it for the Alliance. And I do wonder if that was, it's not entirely about homesickness, and maybe part of it was just there were certain things that he wanted to do that he didn't end up doing, whether from people in the house or just circumstances happening.
I guess one's here.
Him just not enjoying himself. Though I would also
we
be
over 1,000
I
reds.
don't know how much people are enjoying themselves this season in general. Yeah, I know we're getting to the pear-shaped part of the game when it's just exhausting anyway. I know Enzo, when he was doing his requisite shout-outs to his kids, he's like, we're almost there. Everyone definitely is sort of feeling that finish line itch.
I don't think I've been doing too much. I'm not really feeling.
I guess this season more than others, there really hasn't been that person
it's not that late. Usually I would record one more. I don't know if I really feel like it. We'll see. But that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.